A lot of great reasons to hang out with us on is it Saturday night? I think it's Saturday night. It's almost, depending on where you live, it could be Sunday morning. All right, let's dive into another Silver Eagle. This is the complete mint set. Tell us why this one is so special, Mike.
This is like, yeah, I feel like one of those old-time announcers, you know, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gather round. Okay. We have a story to tell here.
Oh, good.
Of intrigue, if you will. These are the coins that the United States government never wanted you to know about. Literally, they never wanted you. They did everything in their power to keep the fact that these two coins even exist, to keep that from the American collecting public.
Wow.
This is what I was talking about earlier, when the United States government has made it, the West Point Mint has made the American Silver Eagle for decades now. In 2011, 12, 13, and 14, they made some extra ones at the San Francisco Mint and labeled the coins as from the San Francisco Mint. And then they said they never did extra or supplemental minted coins ever again. Well, of course, they were lying to us. They did indeed. For some reason, it was extraordinarily important to them to keep this information from us. When asked, they denied it. However, because of the laws of the United States, if you file a Freedom of Information Act request, which you can actually do online, they have to give you a true and correct and accurate answer. And so this guy filed this request and said, could I please have the mintage figures of American Silver Eagles from the West Point, Philadelphia, and San Francisco mints for 2014, 15, 16, and 17. And they sent back a letter that said, yes, indeed, you may. Of course, we're beholden to tell you those things. And they said, in 2015, while we didn't make any coins at San Francisco, we made 79,000 coins at Philadelphia, making it the rarest mint state American Silver Eagle. As a matter of fact, I still have a few of those 2015s. And while those coins are not mint marked, and while the United States government desperately wanted us to not know about these coins, they did have to release the serial numbers of the boxes that contain those coins, and about 5,500 of those coins of the 79,000 were discovered. I have a very few of those. We have them on hsn.com. They are $4,600 a piece. We have sold, we had the largest quantity, I believe, out there. I had almost 100 coins. I've got about 2 dozen left in Mint State 70, the rarest Mint State American Silver Eagle. The next rarest after that, before that coin, was, of course, the 1996 American Silver Eagle. That's a $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 coin in Mint State 70. But then, in 2016, they made them at Philadelphia, San Francisco, and West Point, and they did again in 2017. And they had to release the mintage figures. See this coin right here? This coin right here, this Philadelphia minted 2017 American Silver Eagle, this is the second rarest American Mint State Silver Eagle. Remember, the first rarest, $4,700. Basically, the third rarest up until now was the 1996. That's a $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 coin. Or you have this coin, which, if I took these other two coins away at $429.95, would be a significant and important numismatic coin. Because first of all, while the government made a very tiny quantity of these coins, they did not tell us that these coins were even being made. And because they do not bear a mint mark, you have to have the coin certified and guaranteed. And that's exactly what we've got here. So we have got a perfect Mint State 70 2017 Philadelphia minted American Silver Eagle. The rarest one, of course, is the 2015 Philadelphia Minted Eagle. Same coin, same condition, 2 years earlier at $4,600 is what we sell them for here. Now, as if that's not enough, they also didn't want you to know that the San Francisco minted coins existed. Once again, because of that Freedom of Information Act request, they had to provide the serial number of the boxes. So we were able to get those and also ferret out the San Francisco minted coins. And then last and certainly not least is the regular West Point minted coin that was, for some reason, that's the only coin they wanted us to know existed.
It's unusual that all the mints were producing the Silver Eagle.
It's only the second time in their history. The only other time was 2016. And I'll show that set next. I've got some 2016s, but it's $1,000. It's $999.95. We'll show you those, okay? I have some of those. So you have these secret American Silver Eagles from 2015, 16, and 17. The Mint State 70s, basically, other than this set, I can't sell you one of them for less than basically $450. But I'm going to give you two of them, actually three of them, not for $450, but $429 a piece. I have to really put this into perspective for you. Not only that, we have first day of issue, which is, of course, this set is exclusive to us here at HSN. It's going to come in the red oak presentation box that you see right here. We have aired this twice. Of the 2017 sets that we can make available to you, already 750 sets are gone in 2 airings. One of those airings was in prime time, basically. I will air these tonight in our primetime show, and there is a chance that it will completely and totally sell out the edition of, I think, one of the rarest, the most significant, the most desirable collectible coins. There is nothing else that the numismatic world is talking about other than the United States Silver Eagles in the complete mint set. And they've never done them in this complete mint set. As a matter of fact, they didn't even want us to know. Nobody even knew these existed until literally March the 22nd. March the 22nd of this year. Oh, wow. That's when the United States government, in response to a Freedom of Information Act request, sent the letter out that said, these are the coins that we made, this is how many we made, and this is the serial numbers of the boxes. This is how you identify them. Now, here's the issue. Even though they're phenomenally rare, they're tremendously difficult to find. You have to understand, the only way to get them is certified, because the United States government does not sell these coins directly to the United States public. So when we talk about serial numbers, what we're talking about is the original boxes that the government sells these in, which are 500 coin boxes. Then they have straps on them that seal the boxes. You must take one of those boxes, still sealed, and it must go to the grading company complete and sealed with a 500 coin box.
Okay, fascinating.
The grading company has to open the box. When the grading company opens the box, inside there is an additional ticker tape that matches the serial number on the outside of the box, so nobody can fiddle with the serial numbers. Only after that is done, of course, the entire thing's, you know, videotaped and recorded for posterity, and then and only then are the coins put into the holders. Now, the interesting part, of course, is while they put the coins in the holders, only a small percentage of those coins are certified perfect Mint State 70. As a matter of fact, the vast majority of the coins are Mint State 69 and even Mint State 68.
So even a brand new minted coin may not be...
Oh, absolutely not. As a matter of fact, we are finding, particularly in these 2017 coins, that the Philadelphia minted coins are grading it at only about maybe 10%. So if we send in 500 of these coins that are bringing tremendous premiums in the marketplace, we send in 500 of these coins, we're getting 50 70s. Okay?
So it's not a perfect process.
So no, oh no, goodness, because understand these are what they consider to be bullion coins. Now here's the interesting part. So the United States government, after this Freedom of Information, it creates this incredible explosion of desirability and collectability, and collectors are going crazy. And the 2015 coin, the only coin that's rarer than this, is a $4,600 or $4,700 coin. Then you got this coin, not at $4,600 or $4,700, but basically $139. They're going crazy. So the Mint reissues a statement and said, look, American Silver Eagles are homogeneous. It doesn't matter what mint they're making at, they all look the same. Well, I'm here to tell the United States Mint something. It really does matter what mint that they were made at. They are not homogeneous in any way, shape, or form. They are different, they are significant, they are collectible, and the mint that they are made at is extraordinarily and exceptionally important. And the only way for you to distinguish that and collect that and own that desirability is coins that have been certified. And only here at HSN can you buy coins that have been certified annex first day of issue. First day of issue is an additional designation that we have for any of the coins that were in essence made in the first 30 days. Usually then they're issued on that first day is what it comes down to. And so all of these coins meet that first day of issue designation. Now, of course, for the 2016 coins, we can't do that. For the 2015 coins, we don't have any first day of issues. But for the 2017 coins, we absolutely, positively do. Now, here's the problem with this. There is a significant quantity of these coins that have been lost forever to collectors. Because prior to when these coins were, like for instance, the 2017 West Point Mint, this coin right here. We had January 1st, we have our today's special value, which is this coin in Mint State 70. Okay, it's this coin that you see right here in Mint State 70. We sell about 13 to 15,000 of those, and about at a 10 or 15% mintage. That means that we had to purchase 200,000 coins. We did not even know that these coins existed at that time. We don't know, we might quite well have opened up a majority of the quantity of these coins, and we had no idea. Okay, we had no idea, because until we had that information, and the vast majority of all these coins, the boxes get open and the coins get sold individually, they get sold in rolls, and as soon as that box is open,
and then you don't know what mint it came from,
then it becomes that homogeneous West Point minted coin. So while they only made 1 million of these, which makes it the second rarest American silver eagle, at this point, only about 100,000 of these coins have even been found. Okay, and of those 100,000 coins, only a tiny percentage of them are going to be Mint State 70, and it's actually far less than 100,000 coins.
And this is the only place you can get all three.
First day of issue, annex first day of issue.
From
and keep
each
in mind,
of those mints.
That's right, and these are Mint State 70, absolutely, positively perfect. They're going to come in the red oak presentation box as well. So of crucial importance, of critical importance, of ultimate and incredible collectability. So you've got these silver eagles that the United States government did not want you to even know existed. But they do, and we have them. More importantly, from a collectability standpoint, this coin that you see right here literally is the second rarest American silver eagle. As a matter of fact, this is the 5th rarest right here. This is the 2nd rarest and the 5th rarest. If these were anything other than these, I mean, like I said, the rarest one's the 2015 P. It's $4,600 for one coin.
So it's worth it just for this one coin alone.
Well, that's what I'm saying. $4,600. Then the next rarest is this coin. Yep. I mean, the next rarest then is this coin that you see right here. So in terms of collectability, in terms of desirability, phenomenally sought after. Like I said, only 2,017 of these in the limited edition match-numbered sets that you're going to see with the first day of issue, available exclusively from us here at HSN in the red oak presentation box that you're going to see right here. I think it is an exceptional and incredible opportunity for you to be able to do that. It is the complete mint set. Here in just a little bit, I'll show you the 2016s, but they're going to be $999 for the 2016 set that you're going to have right here. So this is an opportunity to own a piece of numismatic history, a set that the United States government literally never wanted you to know existed. And they're still fighting the release of that information almost on a daily basis, saying, but it doesn't matter what mint they're made at, they all look alike. And once again, I'm here to tell you, it absolutely, positively matters what mint they're made at, and the fact that Philadelphia and San Francisco are different. Okay, they're not West Point mint. They're significantly rarer. They're highly collectible. They've been certified to be absolutely, positively perfect, and this is your opportunity to get this set.
Because like you said earlier, most of those silver eagles were coming out of West Point.
Yeah, the vast majority. I mean, 95% of them. And these we thought. So this is unusual
that the other mints were even doing this, and only recently discovered.
It's never really been done in the history of the United States Mint. The very first time was the San Francisco Mint in 2011.
And how long have the Silver Eagles been?
1986. The United States, the Liberty Coin Act, signed into law by President Ronald Reagan, started the American Silver Eagle, and they've basically been made at a single mint until 2011, when we made a few of them at San Francisco. In 2012, 13, and 14, a few of them at San Francisco. But the rarest of them all are going to be the Philadelphia minted American Silver Eagles in mint state condition. There are only 3 of them in existence: 2015, 2016, 2017. 2017. This is the only one for right now that is vaguely affordable.
And this is the only place you can get it, where you can get all 3 mints in one complete set. We've got our HSN price, and it's so available for you. However, if you hesitate, you might miss out on this. It's the best opportunity when you see it here, when Mike has it. We have it here in our studios.